everyone. I'm Deborah Gardner. Welcome to Hospitality Today Live. And yes, we are here with another great show, another great, amazing guest that I have known for a long time. And I am so delighted and so honored that she is joining us here today, along with all our guests that have great perspectives, opinions, stories, and advice. And the list goes on and on with all the wealth of information that they're willing to share with you, our viewers, our fans here on HTL. And today I'm talking about Angie Ahrens. She is with Infor. She's a senior manager of global events for this amazing company that I know you're going to want to know about. And the best part about Angie, and one area that I've always known about her, is that she is a student of learning. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Angie will take us through her amazing career journey so that you can see how she has learned along the way and why, which actually puts her where she is today as a brilliant and beautiful leader. And so I know you're going to be very excited to meet her, as I'm very excited to have her on the show today. So don't go far. We'll be right back here on HTL. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This episode is sponsored by Pickles, a fun interactive drawing tool that is great for group collaboration, pickles.com. So thank you so much again, everybody, for joining us. I have my good friend here, Angie Ahrens. Hi. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to see you.
I'm just so thrilled. I mean, I've got hair coming off the top of my skin because I have worked with you in the past and have always admired and adored you, because I'm sitting here thinking she has got it together. She knows what she's doing. And yet I'm finding more and more of that you know how to be a student of learning. And we're going to talk about that today. But I know a lot of our viewers right now that I know are going to show up on the chat and the comment section. They want to know, who is Infor?
Yeah, so Infor is a tech software company that I just started working with in March as a full-time member of this amazing global events team. So we host events internationally as an international company, and we are part of third-party events, and 18 of us kind of make magic happen. So it's a very collaborative team that works within this infrastructure of 18,000 people. So we're up there in software development, and we're kind of one of those silent companies that people may not know about, but we're there and you probably use our products. So the hospitality industry even uses them. So it's a lot of fun.
That is amazing, amazing. And they just must be so on cloud nine having you, because again, as a student of learning, can you take us back, to when you first got into the hospitality industry? Because from what I understand, you studied psychology and criminology at the University of Mass. How did you go from that type of wanting to do that type of career into hospitality at the same time? So take us through this journey.
Yeah, I'm sure my parents wondered the same question. How did you get there? It really was from this idea of kind of getting burnt out in research. I really wanted to work for the FBI, and was recruited out of school to work for my national sororities. So I did that for 2 years and had so much fun, was doing alumni services. And I ended up actually doing some private events on the side. And my executive director at the time saw that I was probably getting a little impatient and ready to do something different at that organization. So she pulled me aside and said, our volunteer position that does events, we actually want to bring it in-house. So we want that to be you. So she just took a chance on me and I fell into the industry. So at that point, I did events for 18 to 95-year-old women, working for the national sorority, planning their learning conferences and national conventions. I had a great time doing it, but I really focused on my professional development since I fell in. I didn't have the education that I know a lot of my friends had in that industry. So I reached out to that mentor, the volunteer who used to do the events. And she actually was more beneficial than I think I've ever been able to give her credit for. She has really pushed me, even in the beginning, was like, this is the title you need to ask for. This is the salary you need to ask for. So she really set me up for success with that first job. And then told me to join all those other associations, those Meeting Professionals International, the PCMAs of the world. And I did all of that. I attended all the education I could. I even worked back of the hotel. I reached out to a director of sales I knew and spent a day in the life of a hotelier just because I thought relationships meant the most in this industry. So I dove headfirst in education. And I was actually at a conference getting my education, learning all that CEU information to get my CMP. And at that point, I had met my future boss, if you will, and they had recruited me. So I packed up my bags and I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and worked for a hospitality group. And we hosted buyer trade shows for the hospitality industry. So at that point, you know, when you're a meeting professional for meeting professionals, which is where we met, it throws you in the deep end of education because everyone's got an opinion and you're doing what you can to keep up with the trends and the norms and take those to the next level, if you will. So I did that for about 6 years. And then I was recruited over to a leadership company. And at that point, I really dove into my leadership skills. I'd always led a team. I always thought I was a good leader. But when you're a vice president of a leadership company, it kind of, again, puts you in the spotlight, just like I was before as a meeting professional for meeting professionals. So all of a sudden, I found myself in this leadership position of pretty much the whole staff under my CEO. And we really collaborated together. And I did their events, which were global leadership conferences that we broadcast. And then the pandemic hit and it rocked my world a little bit. And I actually found a new opportunity at Infor. So through that whole journey, it's been really fun to go from different kind of educational components, but I'm very deep into the hospitality education and leadership education. It's kind of what I've always done.
Wow. Well, and you can tell with those credentials behind your name that you definitely set yourself up to gravitate to any type of company or organization. And how lucky are they to have you? Because I'm seeing that what you did throughout this whole journey is that you did a lot of cross training, a lot of you're like a sponge when it comes to education at the same time. And that's something our viewers that are in the hospitality industry should look at, right? In order to elevate their learning abilities to actually become, you know, a leader or have their dreams or passions fulfilled, because you're a great testament to that. I've watched you, I've seen you move along throughout this industry, and it's been amazing and fast.
Yeah, I've been in the industry for about 15 years, just under that. And again, being thrown into it, I just leaned into my community and my network. And I was like, what do? I have no idea what I'm doing. Help educate me. And I truly believe in not being the smartest person in the room and hire to your weaknesses. So that is how I've always built my teams, so I can learn from my team and we can really collaborate together as we move forward. So it's been quite a journey, and I know I have not done it alone.
Wow, that is so amazing to recognize and to be very aware of, especially when it has a team involved, because that's what it takes. That's, you know, when we think about the whole pandemic thing and everybody's saying, well, we're in this together. The hospitality industry, we're used to that. We're used to always doing things together, from the back of the house to the front of the house to, you know, the linesmen to whatever. Everybody has to do their part, play up their role to make an event or a meeting happen. And you obviously are very, very aware of that at the same time. So how did your learning abilities in particular help you become a leader? I mean, when we say leader, how do we define that today? And how is that connected to those learning abilities?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the word leader in itself, it's the gamut, right? It can be so many
Right.
things. For me, it's really focused a lot on that emotional intelligence,
Okay.
learning and listening and being part of the process. So as I look at all the learnings that I have done in my profession, a lot of it is sometimes sitting in a classroom, right? Sometimes it's listening
Yeah.
just to something like this, and being open to those concepts and ideas. So through that education, I think building upon that base and always being open to new ideas, like never shutting it down, right? Again, not being the smartest person in the room and hiring to your weaknesses only allows you to grow.
Right.
And it shows like a vulnerability, if you will, an authentic nature of who you are. So the team trusts you. And if
Right.
you're authentic and vulnerable with them, I mean, they're in it with you. So even
Right.
I mentioned like, I was rocked to the core a little bit with the pandemic, and I was let go from that leadership company at the end of last year. And that was humbling first.
Right.
And I know you and
Say the least.
yeah, and I know you and Courtney Stanley talked about this on a podcast too, on that imposter syndrome and how that creeps in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that leadership qualities that I got from just that experience, the team rallied around me when it happened. And
Hmm.
I had to let my team go because I let almost everyone go because of what was in our situation. They all knew it wasn't personal. They all knew it wasn't me, but they knew how much it personally hurt me to do
Sure.
it. And it
Sure.
just helped. I helped get some of them jobs. Like, I mean, same thing. And then the community rallied around me. So I think learning and listening to so many people around me helped move that piece forward.
Yeah, that probably was very humbling because I think that's where you really know a good leader as opposed to an average leader on how they take care of those ahead of you, even in situations like this. I mean, good times, it's rocking. You've got delegations out, projects and things out to your team, and everybody's rocking and rolling. But when there's a downtime, I think that really tells people if you're a good leader or not. So kudos to you for doing that. And that's hard. That's hard because you've got to put food on the table during, an uncertain time like this. And yet you're putting your team ahead of you, helping them look for jobs and things like that, and hearing their emotional ups and downs. I would imagine they stayed in touch with you as well, right? Throughout
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
months.
I've definitely been the person once I leave a company, I still talk to everyone that I work very closely with because, I mean, I'm authentically who I am. If you know me as a friend, you know me as your team member. I do not change who I am professionally with personally. So
Sure.
I build that friendship and I build that community. And obviously, there's somewhat of a line sometimes as a leader versus a team and where you need to step ahead. But if you are really honest in what that looks like in the beginning, you can just kind of truck through it together. So yeah, I definitely still talk to all my team members.
Yeah, definitely. So, from what you have learned throughout the years, especially with that wild journey and a fast journey, are there any skill sets that you feel that today's hospitality professionals need to pay attention to in order for them to find their leadership level?
Again, I think it goes back to being authentic in who you are and really more empathetic. And I think if the pandemic taught any of us anything, empathy as a leader, number one,
Right,
right? Like you had to understand that when someone had a child crawling on their lap, that was just part of what was going on.
right,
I, it's my husband and I at home with our two dogs. So I did not have a lot of the circumstances that a lot of people had. And I was working remote before. So not a big
right.
deal to me. However, I knew I had team members who never worked from home and they had some circumstances and they liked the cubicle life. They liked being by people. So I think when you take kind of that organizational strength that you have as a meeting professional and what you do, and we all use psychology when planning our events. If you're not using psychology, you should be, right? You should be looking at how your personas are formulated, how your attendees will gravitate through their journey. It's the same thing with your employees. You have to look at your team and see how each move you do affects their journey.
Sure.
And I think the pandemic really made that even more pertinent to what we do. So the empathy and the knowledge of watching journeys, I think, are two skills that people don't give themselves enough credit for utilizing when it comes to leadership.
Wow. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of these skill sets have, like you said, the pandemic kind of put us in our place and made us pause to going, okay, what really is, or what kind of leader do I want to be? And I think we had no choice, like you said, to really be more empathetic of what's been going on here. So that is really great information. And I know that you've been a very good mentor to your team during this whole time. How about you? Who's been mentoring you? Because as a leader, you would think, oh, no, I don't need a mentor, but it never stops. So is there anyone in particular that you lean on or talk to as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I guess I didn't realize how much I didn't take care of myself when it came to that until the pandemic hit. You know, when your friends and your colleagues are getting let go, and I was on the phone almost daily talking people through their feelings. Because I mean, I have a great community in the hospitality industry. And so when they were all getting hit, they were calling to say, do you know anyone hiring? What does this look like? Help me, just listen to me. So it got tiring. I had no idea. I had no idea that it was mentally affecting me the way it did.
Wow.
And I have to sound so crazy, but I had already had a Peloton, but man, I rode my Peloton and cried out so many times.
Aren't you in love with that now?
I love it. I love it so much. But I think I had to like really look internally first and be like, do you need to talk to somebody? What does this look like? You know, where are you at? Because you're supporting everyone but yourself. And my husband is amazing. Like he just helps support me so much in everything that I do. So I think, you know, we were having those conversations. And then actually my former boss at that leadership company, she is one of the most beast mode women I've ever met.
Who is it?
Her name is Angela Robb.
Angela Robb.
Yes, she's amazing.
Nice.
A big businesswoman, and she was everything I needed when I found her, when she found me. You know, I needed someone who was going to be super supportive in my community, in my team, someone who believed in me when I didn't always. And so she was really, really great. We talked a lot. She unfortunately, because of COVID too, was let go, and I was let go. So we were kind of going through that at separate times, but walking through the same journey.
Sure.
Her strength as, just an individual in the business was everything. So I definitely lean on her. I've had some personal struggles recently. I lost a family member, and she has been so good about that too, and just walking through that process. So find yourself your tribe, if you will.
Right.
I mentioned Courtney. There's like a great group of hospitality women that I like to thrive around too.
Yeah.
Hospitality men that I like to thrive around too. So I think we're such a caring community.
Yeah, we really are.
If you ever need anyone,
cool,
listen. Like you just need to ask. Right. You just
So true. It's so true. And I think that's, as many times I've tried to get out of the hospitality industry, it kept rolling me back in. I mean, it just does not let you leave.
And so many people are leaving right now, and I'm like, don't ever let me go. Like I want to stay.
Right? Exactly. That is so true. Well, and I'm so glad through all of this, our paths had crossed, because I'm learning through this pandemic. I'm meeting so many different people that I haven't met. So as large as we think it is, it's pretty small.
It is.
And you're going to meet somebody sooner or later. And there's so many people coming in, as much as there are that left during the pandemic. So I really believe our future looks really bright in this industry. And I'm so glad we were able to pivot, from in-person to virtual, or from one job to another. We're really, really blessed that this industry will never, ever go away, like some. So we're really, really blessed on that end of things too.
So true.
But,
So true. We are
a
brilliant industry, and we will do whatever we can. still.
Yeah. And I'm like you. I mean, I have a four-legged child as well, and that's about it. So I think about, the parents that go through some of these things, and especially when I know that there's some hospitality people that both the mom and the dad work in the industry and got hit. Holy moly. I had to reach out to them just to let them know, they're going to have to be strong for those kids during that time. But we all make it. We do. I see people and I hear and I watch on social media of people getting jobs every day. So I really believe that we're gonna be stronger than ever. There's no doubt.
And people are still moving and shaking and doing their thing. So it's like, where's so and so? You kind of have to like find people a little bit right now. So.
Yeah, you do. And as much as, for example, technology has been trying to push their way into our industry for so long, finally the floodgates opened for them, and we've had to take advantage of what they had to offer, and it's worked because of it. And there's more coming. Technology is really a big thing in our world, and it's only going to make our jobs easier and more intriguing for those that attend meetings. And I believe it wasn't since, I think the last study was in 2019, that there's an average of 5 meetings that people go to, 5 conferences that people go to per year. So we have to provide an event or a meeting just as good as the last one that they went to. And we're up for that type of challenge. We're that type of, we're made to do that. We're made to say, hey, we'll take on that challenge and make it better than ever. And that's what's fun. That's what keeps us coming back. It's almost like a golf game, Okay, so I missed this hole. I only got a birdie. I want an eagle next time, and it keeps you going from hole to hole to hole, or golf course to golf course to golf course. It's the same with the meetings industry.
And I'm a horrible golfer, but I understand that reference.
Yeah, I don't golf either, but it does make you. Yeah, exactly. So, what are some of the tips on how men and women can actually take what their learning abilities or abilities they want to learn even more about, and make their dreams come true? What are some of the tips that you have experienced firsthand that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier, and it's find your advocate. Whether that person is your sponsor or mentor, they are 2 different things. Find one of each. Find a couple mentors, and it could be an informal relationship. But if it's not formalized, it's not a true mentorship program. And I say this because they can help you focus on where you need to learn more. Maybe from the outside, you may not always see it. And that kind of leads into my second tip, is really know yourself, know your worth, know where you need to improve, and hire around that. Again, that's how I've built my teams to the different levels that we've needed. And you only get stronger, right? You only get stronger with the team that you kind of produce around. So I think looking to guide people with those different strengths and opportunities of growth really makes a leader worth following, if you will. And on top of that, I think the final tip I have is just to have fun, work hard, play hard. I think if you showcase who you are as an individual and you have fun with your team, it's that team building, it's that camaraderie that you build, and showing that you can get dirty too. I will say the more I climbed up the ladder, I always wanted to get dirty still. I wanted to stuff the bags. I wanted to do all the things because my team was doing it. Why would I not do that with my team? Why would I not stand side by side with them? And so I think if you're willing to do all the different levels of whatever team that you are leading, in my case, stuffing bags up to the strategic management of it, they show that you're in it and you want to be part of them, and then go out for that drink after. That's okay. Have a drink and then go home. Work hard, play hard. And if you are slow down with them too. That works as well.
Yep. Slow down to speed up, because that is key to really connecting with your team. Because as you know, and as I know, working for leaders or bosses in the past, it really does determine how long you're going to be at that company based on your boss or your leader. And so now that you've developed into that position, now you can see it and you can tell. But gosh, I want to work for you if you guys are going to have fun.
That was so fun.
That is so important.
I used to have dance
So
parties
important.
on Zoom just to make sure everyone's. I'd pick a random song and Zoom bomb them with a dance party. Whatever I can do to keep their spirits alive. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But that's why we're in this industry, is for the fun. And every day is a blessing. Every day is a good day in the industry. Every day is a new challenge. Every day you meet somebody new, and that's what it's all about. That's why we're all here to make sure that we have a good time. Because every day is different. Every day has to be different. So I guess to close out the show today, which has been so fun with you at the same time, what if you had a magic wand, what would you wish for the industry today moving forward?
Oh, that's a great question. I have so many wishes and dreams. I would say I'm really excited to be getting back to basics right now, and how people maybe have added too much fluff and flair and forgotten their objectives of what we do. Getting back to those basics of your mission and your values and your core as an organization, and remembering why you're doing what you're doing from a strategic level. So I think that, and I'm also a huge sustainability person. I served on the Event Industry Council's sustainability committee for a bit. And, the pandemic has taught us a lot about sustainability. And it's not just about recycling. It's not just about being green. It's about equality. It's about diversity. It's about all these different things. So I would really like to see us continuing to keep that as a norm and building on it, because it should be a norm by now. And if it's not a norm, you got to catch up.
Yeah.
Because we need to build on it. So I would say those are two huge things that I want us to do is, yes, keep it simple, get back to the basics, then build upon that dream and keep having that vision, but also remembering that we have to make sure the world can sustain us. So
very good points. Very good points. I wish that as well. So let's make that happen, because those are very feasible. I mean, it's easy, and you're right. Let's get back to the basics, the fundamentals, and build from there, because without that, nothing's really going to work well, even sustainability. So very good points. Really appreciate that. So how can people get in touch with you, Angie? Because I know they'd love to continue this conversation and connect with you. I do have your email and the website to know more about your company, but is there any other way that people can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. As I said, I'm kind of an open book. So every platform is me authentically. You can find me on LinkedIn, Angie Ahrens. You can find me on Twitter at Angie Ahrens, and also on Instagram at Angie Ahrens. So whatever social platform that you choose, I'm probably on it.
Oh, cool. Very cool. All right. You heard it right here. All the viewers here, please contact Angie as much as you'd like, as much as you feel that you maybe have some questions or comments, or maybe even have a story you want to share with her. Please do, because I know for a fact she is available to have and build a new relationship with you as well. So thank you, Angie. Really appreciate you being on the show. We loved it.
Thank you, Deborah. It was so good to see you. And thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. Bye now.
Bye.
Well, see, there you go. Was I correct on this one? Yes, I believe I was. Sometimes I can't be, but sometimes I can be. And this one definitely was, because I can tell you, Angie really is a true leader in the hospitality industry. And you can tell just by hearing about her journey. And I'd love for you to actually share her journey with others as well that might not have been able to be here today. And you can do that because we have all the replays right there on all your favorite social media platforms. So stay tuned and share this episode with her, along with knowing that our sponsor today was Pickles at pickles.com. They would love for you to know more about them as well, along with wanting to be a sponsor for next year, for 2022, or if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, by all means, let us know at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. We would love to hear from you as well. So next up, we want to introduce to you Jim Cartwright, who is actually a very good friend of mine. And we're going to talk about training, because we know the hospitality has been shaken up during this pandemic. And we know a lot of new people will be joining in this industry very, very soon. So what does the training look like to get people up to par, especially cross-training, whether it's in hotels, cruises, airlines, audio-visual, events, meetings, whatever that might be. We know that training is going to be a big deal in our industry. So we want to say thank you again for being with us. I'm Deborah Gardner here with Hospitality Today Live, and we want to make sure that you join us again next Tuesday, because if you're thinking about it, we're talking about it right here on Hospitality Today Live. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.